Atlanta is exactly as I thought it was. A community that responds to vision, purpose, passion, compassion, and leadership, and good common sense. That Atlanta is an international city wrapped around a town. Um, and that people come through Atlanta, they don't come to Atlanta typically. And this was a nice change to see leaders come to Atlanta and to play a modest role to be part of that. And as somebody who considers himself still a new citizen after 3 years, this was the least I could do. That Atlanta is as cosmopolitan and international as London, as New York, as any of the capitals around the world. But what they don't have is a common touch. What those other places don't have are people who are nice to you for no economic reason. The Crown Prince of Norway and I met in 2005 when we both were made young global leaders for the World Economic Forum. And you had leaders from 80 different countries, all the religions, and nobody would speak about their faith because they didn't want to offend anybody else in the room. And it bothered me because if you don't speak of your faith, if you don't speak about something larger and more important than yourself, irrespective of what faith that is, if it's not bigger than yourself, then it's just a rich boys club or an elite club of people who say, I'm tired of talking about me, now you talk about me. And I thought that it had a real danger of degenerating and becoming selfish. So we started thinking about how to talk about faith and religion without talking about faith and religion. And I ran into the Crown Prince at an evening soiree, and I walked up to him and got right in his face and said, "You're a good man." I just had a feeling about him. And his security was sort of going wild. And luckily, he responded well to that. And he either thought I was crazy or insightful. And we became instant friends. And he and I and Pekka Himanen, who was here from Finland, all had the same concerns. And so we created Global Dignity because nobody's offended by dignity anywhere in the world. It doesn't offend anybody, it doesn't make anybody uncomfortable, and everybody wants it. And dignity is very spiritual. It's very emotional without it being queasy to people, by becoming, I guess, religious-based or even human rights makes some people uncomfortable. And this is before everything. This is I am me because you are you. As they say in South Africa, Ubuntu. I am me because you are you. Hope at a time when the world is racked by fear, at a time where Republicans and Democrats can't seem to get along, at a time where East and West, even Christian and Arabic and Islam seem to be at odds. And I say seem to be because I don't think we really are at odds. You saw black and white here. You saw rich and poor here. You saw conservative and liberal here. You saw Republicans and Democrats. You saw a billionaire next to a hundredaire. You saw a mom and pop next to a CEO of a Fortune 500 company. This is America. This is a world. This is about being global citizens. It makes people hopeful to know that they are actually the captains of their own destiny, the leaders of their own ship, that they can actually achieve self-determination in their life, freedom for themselves. They don't have to wait for the president or anybody else to do it for them. Meetings like this give people hope. It inspires them. It recharges, hopefully, their batteries. It also proves we can do it. I mean, no government pulled this together. It's a nonprofit, 70 people who are bold enough to believe he could change the world and bring the Federal Reserve Chairman to Atlanta, along with 1,000 of his friends from 30 countries. Because of who he is, it's he's not a politician, so he doesn't go around shaking hands and all that stuff. But we had our board, some of the speakers were able to talk to him for a bit, take some photos. But he also, I think most importantly, he went to the King Center this morning quietly, took a tour. He took a tour of Dr. King's home, his birth home, the King Center, Ebenezer. we're going to get busy at the Hope Center, whether I'm physically there or not.
Yeah, but
Tomorrow,
yeah.
it'll be open for business. We'll be changing credit scores, moving credit scores. We'll be helping young people become entrepreneurs. We want this to be available to everybody. So I'll be disappointed if I don't see all of God's children coming through this Hope Center or us reaching out to them. Jeans, a t-shirt, door to door, it's not complicated. We're a nonprofit, we don't charge a fee. Let's start there. If you're advertising on TV, it's a fee. Period. It's economics. I mean, if you're advertising on TV, somebody's getting a buck somewhere. Our sponsors, our partners here, basically offset our cost to the point of zero. So we're able, as long as you invest your time and you're serious about it, we open a file on you, you show up in your appointments, you're good. You invest in us, you invest in yourself, we'll invest in you. The other thing that differentiates us from a bank is that a bank must give you an approval or decline you by law, instantly. If we're a nonprofit, we can say maybe. We can give a conditional approval. So we can approve you day one, subject to the resolution of your primary denial factors, and that's what we do. We work with folks for 24 months, resolve their primary denial factors, move their credit scores on average 120 points, match them dollar for dollar up to $10,000 to buy a home, and change their life, change their attitude by moving their credit score from 550 on average to 670. At 550, you're a check cashing customer. At 670, you're a banking customer. When we finish with you, you're like a new penny. And by that time, the bank that wanted to turn you down all of a sudden wants to approve your loan. All anybody has to say 5 years from now, they go to the bank, the bank says, I see you had some credit issues. Oh, wait a minute. This was 2008, 2012. Oh, no, that was a global economic crisis. I mean, Jesus Christ probably has bad credit today. I mean, everybody has gone through this. I just wouldn't worry about that. It's not about what life does to you. It's about how you respond to it. I'm happy when people are happy. Walking into a session, I like that I'm not the star. It's not my keynote address. It's not John Bryant did it. It's 1,000 people bringing their specialization, their power, their influence together. No one person can do anything. I mean, that's a myth. And to see everybody owning this and ignoring me is brilliant, other than wanting a photo with me. I mean, they're working. And I had some young global leaders with me who we were going to take a picture, and I showed up late because I was busy, and they said, look, we got to go. We got to go to our working groups. They dumped me in the picture profile to go to a working group. It's exactly the right answer. So to walk in one of these working groups and see people rolling their sleeves up, digging in these issues, being serious about the deliberations, bringing recommendations back, which we will then take to the President of the United States in the G20 in January, and I'm walking the room and people just basically ignore me, it's perfect. We're going to make sure that there's a report on the desk of every principal leader of the G20, and starting with our president. This will be the Davos-like meeting for the empowerment of the poor here in Atlanta. This is an international city, but people come through Atlanta, not to Atlanta, and I want to change that.
Well, the work they're doing, inspiring young entrepreneurs, I think that's important. And I think there are many perspectives on how we get the community to lift itself, and how people can find, if they can't find work, they can create it. And that's the thing I want to focus on, people looking inside and finding the energy to build things from inside out. I think many people, because of the commercialism, most every subject you can think of, people are looking for results before work. And they're looking for the things on the outside to promote the happiness they need on the inside. Money doesn't make you happy, but happy makes you money. So I want people to come from a good space. So my stories are about consciousness, and the idea of needing nothing, and operating from a good place, operating from abundance, a Christian preacher might say. And I always say needing nothing attracts everything. So Operation Hope is a place where I can spread that message, where people, not so in a race to get ahead, but to get here and operate from here on, and from this day begin new, this idea. So that's what I want to do here today, is talk about that and help however I can in this great program, and I'm honored to be a participant. Well, I think, I like to say there's not a lot of difference. Although I know it's more difficult to get out of poverty for some, more difficult to get a decent education. The norm is not to make it. 1 out of 3 black kids are going to jail. Prison industrial complex got a good stranglehold on legislation, so they're locking people up and training them to be criminals, and they've been doing that for years, but it's still happening, and so it's added up, taking a toll on communities. It's poisoned communities, and so there's some communities that have been poisoned completely. People are suffering in them because of the experiences that some have had in the prison industrial complex, and in other words, diseased drug addicts locked up, taught to educate in criminal behavior, and then put it into the community. Do that enough years, and it adds up. And it adds up so much so that the whole community has been poisoned with jail culture. And that's that's an important shift. You saw it happen over a period of time, where the church was the most important institution. Later on, the prison became, in terms of educating people, in terms of what their choices would be, you're educated more from whether you went to jail or not. You're educated more from jail than you are from the church. That's a sad reality. So it's changed some, because of that. And I think that we need to refocus as much as we can, and every individual can do whatever he can to inspire one, to lift one up, matters. And just do the work. We get results and do the work, right? So that's what they say. It's in every scripture. I mean, you might as well take it to heart. Well, I think that there's no choice. There's many services that are needed, many ideas that have to be expounded on. I think that a lot of what's in African American culture is spread out into the mainstream, so much so that you can't survive without diversity. The industries there's too much money in diversity. I'm talking about cultural diversity. I mean, color is not going to make the difference, but there are things that are happening in the African American community that's influenced the mainstream so big, and it's also with this minority majority. You have to look at communities of color and find ideas, because these ideas have actually shaped all the mainstream anyway, haven't they? From a cultural standpoint, all the jazz, the blues, the rock and roll, the hip hop, whatever, that's everything America exported. So it didn't just cross over and now it became something outside of the community, which jazz did, and Benny Goodman or whatever, and rock and roll became Mick Jagger. Everything can come what it wants, but hip hop became hip hop. It played in the mainstream. These voices spoke directly to the mainstream, and the world changed. Oh, my man John, he really has a great vision. He's been an inspiration to me, and what he's doing here is phenomenal. People he pulled together is unbelievable. So I just got to shout out to John for doing a good work, fighting a good fight.